Randomized. Here we are. Alright, for everyone who is here to see Mario, thank you for your time. You're welcome to leave now, because now we're doing puzzles, and puzzles are hard. Please enjoy my suffering. Alright, so we're doing this one now. I don't know how to solve this one. This one's, I think they removed the symmetry on this one in the rando. If I'm not mistaken, I need to confirm that. Yeah. Alright, so things that we know. These two stars have to be separated. There's no configuration that does not end with these two stars being separated. These subtraction blocks, if I mix them with... So I'm gonna have a hard time mixing all three of these subtraction blocks into the same shape, I think. I think the shape I want to draw for... Will this spoil anything if you haven't played The Witness? I'm afraid the answer is probably yes, just because of the fact that really all The Witness is about learning puzzle mechanics, and the rando uses all the puzzle mechanics, so this won't have any of the puzzles from the actual game, though, so if that doesn't bother you, if just, like, seeing me know how the mechanics work, then I guess not. I guess ultimately it's just a tough question to answer, but it's possible yes and it's possible no, depending on how strict you are on spoilers. Which Mario game has the most kinetic energy to it? You mean, like, just... the movement's real good? I've always thought SM64 has, real good movement. I think SM64 is, like, the pinnacle of moving a Mario, which is why I think it's aged so well in terms of the speedrunning scene. I'm also very biased. I mean, if you ask that question to 10 people, you might get 12 answers. So this one's gonna have 3 around it. I could believe that we're going sort of around this direction. Unfortunately, I can't draw it on here to test things out. The only way I can interact with this puzzle is by walking on the grid here. So... question's where do we want to start? Am I able to actually walk all the way over to the other starting panel? I may have to start from over there. It's possible that this puzzle's designed that way. This is no longer a symmetric puzzle, so I can start from either dot, and I just need to get out one of the exits. None of these are tilted, so they can't be rotated. Okay, so observation time. The way subtraction blocks work in this game is kind of curious. Even if you are going to subtract pieces from a Tetris piece, the entirety of the original shape has to fit within the grid. So what I mean by that is if I plan to subtract one from this, it can't be like subtracting this little right nub of this Tetris piece and then shifting the whole thing against the wall. So because of that, if this is included in the shape, it actually can't even be where it is right now, right? So if you have that S shape, there's no way to put the S shape in this corner because it has this little nub pushing out to the side. And so I think this piece right here has to be added to it. Like, there's just no other way that I can see, is it has to be added to it. So we actually have this shape right here. We have this sort of a 2x3 with a little nub on the side. That said, now I have to subtract 5 blocks from it, if so. Which makes me also think that doesn't work. Unless this piece is also part of it. Ooh. Wouldn't that be wild? What if all 3 of the Tetris block pieces are connected in this? These 2, I feel like, have to be. There's nothing I can see that would have them not connected. This one right here, for what it's worth, also has to be left justified because of where it's located. And if it starts here and goes up, then this piece right here has 3 lines around it, which is a problem. So I think what's going to happen is... Oh man, this one's weird. This one's very strange. Let me draw out something just so I can visualize it. This is the problem, is I can't there's no real scratch space here. Like, I can't just draw on this one. So right now I'm visualizing something like this. Does that leave us in a bad situation? Yeah. So this one is not right because it has 2 lines on either side. So that's incorrect. This one has 3. That's a problem. It's this piece right here that's really catching my attention big time. This piece is very curious. If you shifted this shape right here 1 to the right, then the 2 block could actually be referring to these 2 right here. But then these 2 wouldn't be separated, they'd be joined. But that's okay as long as they're the only 2 blue things in that square. Let me look at what that looks like for a second. I already see at least one problem with this, but I kind of just want... I have to visualize it, or else I'm not going to be able to work it out, I don't think. Okay, so that makes this one have 2. This one now has too many, though. That's an issue. There's 1 on either side of that, which is a problem. Huh. All these subtraction blocks littered around are really kind of messing my ideas up a lot. So this one's correct. This one's fine. This one's fine. Everything inside here is fine. It is possible that these two share a region. That's possible. It's not strictly speaking wrong. I think if I focus on this piece right here, a lot of stuff will start to make more sense. No, it has to be exactly that shape, though the subtraction blocks really mess with the subtraction blocks really mess with those rules pretty badly. If I can figure out what's going on with this block down here, I think most of the rest of the puzzle will just solve itself. So what would I do with this? What is going on with this one right here? If I drew it right there, and then the 2 block goes right here, that would work. So I end up with something that looks like this. But then I have to figure out how the subtraction happens. And including this is a big problem for that. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that this block comes in to save it. So if this is right here, 1, 2... 1, 2, go right here. There's also the possibility of a shape like this. But I don't think that works. So, just to visualize this, not that it's even close to fleshed out yet, as I'm talking about this shape. It probably would end up going out that way right there. I'm not worried about where this starts right now, just trying to work out the shapes. I could comfortably subtract this block, but see, I've got I've got a grand total of 5 subtraction blocks in a 7 block area, which is a problem. But this one can't really combine with that one. I really think all 3 Tetramino pieces are gonna have to... They're not Tetraminos. Tetris shapes, whatever you want to call them. I think all 3 of these are gonna have to connect. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that gives me enough pieces to work with. Yo, what's up, Trog? Have you never played The Witness? Well, I don't know how you feel about puzzle games, but this is one of my favorite puzzle games made by one of the worst people. It's actually fantastic. Okay, what if I were a puzzle and I were trying to get solved? If I'm out here trying to get solved, you know, what am I gonna do to make that happen? Let me take a look at the wiki really quickly. Okay, the wiki says that for this one, it uses the top right starting point. So that's a little hint that the wiki is providing me. That's fine. I haven't worked out enough information about this to have even begun thinking where I was going to start. The three Tetris pieces are what's really messing me up here. If I could work out where those go... I mean, frankly, with how many Tetris pieces there are, it's fairly obvious that if I can figure out where they go, that's the whole puzzle, so I guess it's a little pointless for me to over and over say, let's figure out the Tetris pieces. So if I'm starting from up here, if I connect all three of them, then I have to connect all three of the subtraction pieces in there as well. I don't know whether or not with the subtraction pieces if you're allowed to I don't know if you're allowed to have them just sort of sit on their own. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other notes in the wiki that talk about this. Alright. I assume the subtraction pieces can't just live on their own. With this, with 5 subtraction pieces, I feel like my only option is to end up combining all the tetramino, or the Tetris pieces. Because look at this, there's 5 subtraction total on the board. If I assume that I'm going to connect all 3 of these, which is not necessarily true, but if I just assume for a moment that I'm going to connect all 3 of these, then that's a grand total of what? Sorry, 11 blocks. So 4, 5, 6, 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. And there's 6 different squares I need to incorporate in the final thing in order for that to count. So that doesn't make sense. So maybe that's my proof that they don't all get connected, but if they don't all get connected, I have no idea where to start. This feels like one that maybe I should just come back to. Like, this feels like it's a very challenging one and that I might benefit from circling back this a later point. It's these stars. The stars always throw me off. Alright, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna plan to circle back on some of these puzzles later. I have to do both of them to get the laser? For some reason I thought I only had to do one of them to get the laser. Alright, let's see. I don't think I can do the treehouse yet. I don't have the boat. I could head off to the shore where the color puzzles usually are. Or not the color puzzles, the Tetris puzzles are. I have a feeling this is going to be harder than the Tetris puzzles usually are. Um... Do I not understand these pieces? I thought that the 4 meant they couldn't... I thought this meant they couldn't be rotated, so... Oh. Oh. Hmm. Huh. So this is the shape I want. I just have to figure out how to start it and end it correctly. Gosh. I'm not seeing how to get these in a solution right now. How do I get those last pieces in here? I'm so stumped on this one. It's possible that they're completely separated, but it's not likely that they're completely separated. need to get... No, the yellow things don't have to pair with the white dots. The yellow things tell you shapes you have to put on the board. If you combine multiple, you can shift them around. If it's slightly slanted, it's telling you that you're allowed to rotate it. Only rule when it comes to white and black is that you can't have a white and black in the same region. Okay, I was correct, I just couldn't seem to figure out how to redraw it. Goodness gracious. Oh, these puzzles really do just keep... They do just keep. feel like I'm close. I'm stumped on this one. I'm gonna feel this way on every single puzzle. I don't know why I keep saying I'm stumped. So I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here. That has the right number at least. There's like so many different configurations of these shapes that could work. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 16 squares. Unless they're just not all connected, but that seems so unlikely. Okay, so this right here doesn't account for the block in the top right. So where can I add the block in the top right to this? Every solution I've come up with so far has required me to cross over another line, which is obviously not allowed. I mean, it could just be partitioned differently than I'm imagining. It's not too hard to think that I'm just way off. Gosh, it really does feel like expert mode. I'm running up against it everywhere, huh? This is almost perfect. Except for the block in the top right. Hmm. I'm so lost on this one. I'm so lost in the sauce right now. This one seems so impenetrable to me. Everywhere I rotate these things in my head, they end up running into other ones, which means I have to add them to the shape. It means that the shape itself, when I draw it on the board, can be rotated. So for instance, if this piece right here, if this shape right here, this L shape weren't rotated, it would be required to be oriented in this way. But if it's tilted slightly, it means it can be rotated. No, you're fine, Jeff. And for what it's worth, I think into the I'm hearing ideas territory now. We're not so worried about backseating right this second. I'm not ignoring ideas, at least at this point. You think it's two separate shapes? I think you might be right. I've been trying to come up with two separate shapes at work, but I haven't come up with anything yet. Something like this gets me really close, but it's wrong. Hey, Adef, I am okay, and I'm stumped by puzzles, so that is what it is. Let me kind of, hold on, experiment with a thought. That's so close. I see why that's not correct, but that's so close. I have to go through this junction right here. Right, at some point I have to separate these two from each other. And the only way is if I go through this junction at some point. Hey, Urza. I cannot in good conscience recommend anyone do the expert rando. I think if you're like me and your hubris convinces you that you're definitely capable of doing it, you should really stop and think about whether or not you're trying to render fun out of this randomizer. That's my only advice. Yeah, well, this didn't lead me anywhere, so I'm not convinced you're right. I really enjoy I really enjoy being stumped in puzzle games. It doesn't bother me being stumped in puzzle games in the slightest. I think I get really antsy when I'm streaming them because I don't feel like it makes for good content when I stare at this panel for 20 minutes. And those of you who are here are obviously like you've made the choice to watch it, but I'm saying like in general, I don't think most people are interested in watching me do this. So this L shape right here either goes up and down, or it goes horizontally, and there's literally no other options here. And if it goes horizontally, right here, then... Oh, there is one more configuration, right? There's like this. Can I carve what I need out of the other part if I do this? There it is. So this piece is rotationally symmetric, so there's only two options here. And I think the option that we're going to run into, I'm just speculating, is this one. I'm not sure what happens to the rest of the pieces here. I think the end is going to look something like this. I just got to figure out what's going on with that LP or the J piece in the bottom right. Oh, okay. This one's not bad. Oh? Oh. I don't think that means I'm wrong. I think what that means is I'm just so right, you know? Okay, I just gotta draw this in the other direction. I didn't give it the J. The light shining on this one makes it hard to read. Often these triangle pieces actually help to severely narrow the search space. Like when you see a 3, you know that you're drawing a shape like that around it, which really does feel like it narrows things down quite a lot most of the time. This is really, really close. But the one triangle is just not taken care of in this one. That middle triangle. What if the problem is me trying to combine these, right? What if it's nothing like that? Yes, I do think I was onto something there with that idea. I'm asking a lot of questions about how the puzzles work, so if you have questions, it's fine. Feel free to ask them. The rules on backseating here are so much looser than for most games I play, because it's a game I'm already pretty familiar with. The only thing I'm asking is that people not just try to guide me to the solution. Like, if you figured it out, congratulations, you're the smartest person in the room. But just let me solve the problems. But sometimes even then I'm asking people to throw out ideas if I get really stumped, so who knows. This does all of it except for This does all of it except for the triangles in the top right. This satisfies every other requirement. If I could adjust the shape to be able to be like this. But I need to figure out how the rest of the pieces fit together to figure out what has to get removed then. And I've now broken the other set of triangles, so we'll see. I think the solution's gonna look something like this right here. But I need to remove one piece, so I just need to figure out what piece that is. Yeah, it means they can be rotated, but not mirrored. I feel like this is very close to the correct solution. I'm just missing a little piece here. Oh, I thought I had worked out the shapes. Apparently I didn't. Yeah, the triangle is how many of that cell's walls have to be lines. Every solution I come to, I think trying to combine these all into one is what's causing me a problem. If this is the right shape, drawing it the other way should work. So let me just establish that this is the right shape. It's not the right shape currently, but I think I can fix that. There we go. Okay, so we know that because of its orientation, that this piece can't end up here. It has to be combined with something, because the only two possible combinations are like this, which means that the three triangles will never work, or shifted slightly to the right by one, so right here. And again, the three triangles just don't work. So it has to be combined with something and moved. The other orientation that could possibly work is on its side like this. Same problem. Yeah, with these puzzles being random rather than curated, I think there's probably a lot of situations where there's multiple solutions to the same puzzle. Theoretically, because they're purely random, like they're generated by a randomizer rather than being curated, or being authored, I guess, if you prefer. Theoretically, they should be easier. Granted, this is with the randomizer turned up into expert mode, so, like, obviously, that's like a huge middle finger, but theoretically, them being purely random should make them slightly easier otherwise. So this piece right here, because of its orientation, really kind of requires being... Unless it's combined with something, really requires it being shaped like this. If it's shaped the other way, you can't actually, like, access it in the corner, right? Like, if it had this orientation, you actually just can't get to it. You have to cut it out because of where the notch is. Yeah, not only is this a randomizer, but this is a randomizer turned on expert mode. So all of these puzzles are way too much. Extraordinarily too much. Triangles measure how many of the cells around, how many of the walls around that cell are drawn in. So this would be valid for the three triangles because 3 of its walls have lines on them. This would be valid for the one triangle because it has only one of its walls being drawn on. Yeah, no problem. The 3 triangles right in the middle are what are really disrupting all of my ideas. Every time I come up with with a way to configure them. The 3 triangles are throwing me off here. There's got to be a solution that kind of ends up doing... like this sort of thing right here. What if I do this? Hold on. So this satisfies the triangles. And if I can adjust the shape in the right ways, this could incorporate the other shapes I'm missing. In order for the lines that I've drawn right now to any of them be valid, it would require me to combine all 3 tetrominoes, or all 3 Tetris pieces. Oh, wait. I think I might have it? I think I might have it. Hold on. No. Later. Is this another one where I'm, like, not trying hard enough to separate the pieces out, and that separating them out is the trick? A lot of these pieces don't stand on their own correctly. This is valid. I just need to draw in the other direction. Because it's not working for this triangle right here, but otherwise this is correct. Can I draw this the other direction? I don't think I can draw this the other direction. Because this is correct for everyone except for that one triangle. Fuck. This might be really close, though. What if it's like... this? Goes up here, and then it captures these... Because this is almost exactly correct. This right here is almost exactly correct. And because of where the start and end is, I can't redraw this in the other direction. I don't think. So what change do I have to make to this to make it work? Because we're almost there. This is almost it. Fuck. This is correct, except for the fact that in order for those shapes to make sense, I have to actually encapsulate that top left piece. Otherwise, the shapes are there. The triangles are taken care of. Everything else is right. That's kind of fucked up, man. Just visualizing shapes for a second. Some of the environmental puzzles aren't possible anymore because of Randomizer, but none have been, like, added or anything. It's a legitimate question. I mean, the geometry hasn't really been changed in any way, but it's possible that it could have been modified enough to change environmental puzzles. It happens to be the case it's not, but it's a reasonable question. Well, we're back to this solution right here, which is not there. It's not a solution in the strictest use of the word, in that it's not correct or close to correct. But if you're willing to ignore that detail, we really got something here. You know, sometimes you just gotta let her fly and see what happens. Alright, so let me first establish how many pieces we're talking about. We got 6, 10, 11. So we're going to be missing 5 pieces on the board. That's how this is going to happen. Is it's going to be separated unless I'm not subdividing this properly, which I'm really struggling to see a way I could subdivide this differently. But every valid solution I've come up with has been broken by the triangles. The GitHub for the randomizer actually comes with a solver, so if you get like really stumped by a puzzle, you can just run the solver and it'll tell you what the solution is. Yeah, I haven't even opened it. I don't know what this comes with a solver. And you run it. Do I have to like input? Oh, it gives me like a little here. It's got a little thing. For you to build the puzzle and it'll solve it for you. Cool. Well, that actually leads me to ask the question whether or not the solution I came up with for that one is the same one that y'all did. So let me enter the other one in here. Let's see. 3 here, 1 here. No, I have that backwards. It's 3 here and 1 here. Was that right? No, it was the other direction. Just curious to see if it spits out the same solution mine did. Cool. That just goes to show you that there are multiple solutions to every puzzle. Hmm. I am thoroughly stumped on this one. Once again, stating the obvious. Imagine not being stumped right now. Couldn't be me. Alright. Let's give my brain some time to reset. I'm staring at it for too long now. I don't think there's any puzzles I'm incapable of doing, but sometimes if I stare at the same puzzle for so long, I get blinders. Like, I have half-completed solutions in my head, and I can't move away from them. Yeah, there's been lots of times where I'll be streaming a puzzle game or something, and I'll cut stream because I'm getting frustrated by it, and then I'm off stream and I'm like, oh, I figured it out in my head. Not even while I'm actively thinking about it anymore. I need to get the boat. Oh. The randomizer goes ahead and gives you the laser for the greenhouse since the greenhouse doesn't get randomized. Interesting.
Up there, you go around every hour and a half, time after time after time. You wake up usually in the mornings, and just the way that the track of your orbits go, you wake up over the Mideast, over North Africa. As you eat breakfast, you look out the window as you're going past, and there's the Mediterranean area, and Greece, and Rome, and North Africa, and the Sinai, the whole area. And you realize that in one glance, that what you're seeing is what was the whole history of man for years, the cradle of civilization. And you go around down across North Africa and out over the Indian Ocean and look up at that great subcontinent of India, pointed down toward you as you go past it. And Ceylon off to the side, Burma, Southeast Asia, out over the Philippines, and up across that monstrous Pacific Ocean. Vast body of water. You've never realized how big that is before. And you finally come up across the coast of California and look for those friendly things. Los Angeles and Phoenix and on across El Paso. And there's
Yeah, I think
Houston.
this one's like 4 or 5
There's
minutes long.
home. And you look, and sure enough, there's the Astrodome. And you identify with that, you know? It's an attachment. And down across New Orleans, and then looking down to the south, and there's the whole peninsula of Florida laid out. And all the hundreds of hours you spent flying across that route, down in the atmosphere, all that is friendly again. And you go out across the Atlantic Ocean and back across Africa. And you do it again, and again, and again. And that identity, that you identify with Houston, and then you identify with Los Angeles, and Phoenix, and New Orleans, and everything. And the next thing you recognize in yourself is you're identifying with North Africa. You look forward to that. You anticipate it. And there it is. That whole process begins to shift of what it is you identify with. When you go around it in an hour and a half, you begin to recognize that your identity is with that whole thing. And that makes a change. You look down there, and you can't imagine how many borders and boundaries you crossed again and again and again. And you don't even see them. At that wake-up scene, the Mideast, you know there are hundreds of people killing each other over some imaginary line that you can't see. From where you see it, the thing is a whole, and it's so beautiful. And you wish you could take one from each side in hand and say, look at it from this perspective. Look at that. What's important? And so a little later on, your friend, again those same neighbors, another astronaut, the person next to you goes out to the moon. And now he looks back and sees the Earth not as something big where he can see the beautiful details, but he sees the Earth as a small thing out there. And now that contrast between that bright blue and white Christmas tree ornament and that black sky, that infinite universe, really comes through. The size of it, the significance of it, it becomes both things. It becomes so small and so fragile, and such a precious little spot in that universe that you can block it out with your thumb. And you realize that on that small spot, that little blue and white thing is everything that means anything to you. All of history and music and poetry and art and war and death and birth and love, tears, joy, games, all of it is on that little spot out there that you can cover with your thumb. And you realize that that perspective, that you've changed, that there's something new there. That relationship is no longer what it was. And then you look back on the time when you were outside on that EVA and those few moments that you had the time because the camera malfunctioned, that you had the time to think about what was happening. And you recall staring out there at the spectacle that went before your eyes. Because now, you're no longer inside something with a window looking out at a picture. But now you're out there. And what you've got around your head is a goldfish bowl. And there are no limits here. There are no frames. There are no boundaries. You're really out there, over it, floating going 25,000 miles per hour, ripping through space, a vacuum, and there's not a sound. There's a silence, the depth of which you've never experienced before. And that silence contrasts so markedly with the scenery and the speed with which you know you're going. That contrast, the mix of those two things, really comes through. And you think about what you're experiencing and why. Do you deserve this? This fantastic experience? Have you earned this in some way? Are you separated out to be touched by God to have some special experience here that other men cannot have? You know the answer to that is no. There's nothing that you've done that deserves that earned that. It's not a special thing for you. You know very well at that moment, and it comes through to you so powerfully, that you're the sensing element for man. You look down and see the surface of that globe that you've lived on all this time, and you know all those people down there. They are like you. They are you. And somehow you represent them when you are up there. A sensing element. That point out on the end. And that's a humbling feeling. It's a feeling that says you have a responsibility. It's not for yourself. The eye that doesn't see does not do justice to the body. That's why it's there. That's why you're out there. And somehow you recognize that you're a piece of this total life. You're out on that forefront and you have to bring that back somehow. And that becomes a rather special responsibility. It tells you something about your relationship with this thing we call life. And when you come back, there's a difference in that world now. There's a difference in that relationship between you and that planet, and you and all those other forms of life on that planet, because you've had that kind of experience. It's a difference, and it's so precious. And all through this, I've used the word you because it's not me. It's not Dave Scott. It's not Dick Gordon, Pete Conrad, John Glenn. It's you. It's us. It's we. It's life. It's had that experience. And it's not just my problem to integrate. It's not my challenge to integrate, my joy to integrate. It's yours. It's everybody's. Russell Schweikart, 1975.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Yo, what's poppin', Slade? How you living? You finally do the Mario hour? I've been watching a lot of you playing Mario. Big fan of the content, I gotta tell you. That's the only one that's wrong with that solution. 17 seconds away. I'm so sorry to hear that, Slade. Putting the work in, though. It'll happen. Oh, you threw for content? I get that. I do that all the time. Don't tell my stream. Do you think they made this game hard on purpose? Do you think that was the plan? What? That wasn't... Oh, that wasn't right. No, they got me dead to rights on that one. There we go. It's called Throwing for Content, baby. How's the star work? The star checks to see whether or not there's exactly one other object of the same color within its region. Yep, the triangles are the number of sides I gotta touch. This is the randomizer, but I turned it on expert mode because I did not want to have fun. Honestly, y'all think you've heard of throwing for content? Intentionally playing something that's gonna make you upset. That is the hard mode equivalent of throwing for content. Man, we're schmoovin' right now. Yeah, but he still hasn't beaten La Milana, so I think I wasted my time. So this is pretty close to correct. No, God, no, that's not close at all. Shit. That's pretty bad too. Oh, see, they cheated by making it tough. This block of triangles in the bottom right is really throwing me off. I'm right now just looking at the triangles in the top left. Trying to work out what shape I'm required to do here. Oh no, I'm aware of why he hasn't been playing La Milana. I'm being a dick. I know there was a legitimate reason why he hasn't played in a while. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, is that because it's in this little 2x2 box right here, I don't think that there's a lot of variance for what this solution could be. If I go around the outside, of the box, it's something like this. I need to mirror this in the other direction though, because in its current configuration, it's not possible for me to get to the exit. So I think what I really want to do is I want to rotate and flip this. I'm just trying to visualize what that means. So it's like this is what I want to end up with, something like this. That is not basically the same myth. And I played his very bad ROM hack, so if anything, that entitles me to him finishing La Milana. I have no room to talk. I've owed I Ate Your Pie a playthrough of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories for like a year now, so... There it is. I had the right idea, just oriented incorrectly. Oh god, that felt close. Seeing that not succeed hurt my heart. Alright, so what was that again? I need to see it so that I can fix it. Yeah, I mean, basically what you're trying to say without saying it is that Forbidden Memory sucks ass, and it's going to be suffering when I play it. It's not pretty alright, Bob. There's nothing okay about that game. It is sinful how bad that game is. It's not good, actually. I've watched more Forbidden Memories streams in my life than I feel comfortable copying to right now. But let me just say it quite plainly. It's not a good game. The agreement that I have with Pi, I already proposed what if I played a 15 card mod, and the answer was absolutely not. We've been playing The Witness for probably about a little more than 2 hours. But tomorrow, by the way, hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Tomorrow we're going to be continuing Zero Time Dilemma, so don't miss it, because if you do, then, I don't know, whatever. I mean, miss it if you want to, I'm not your mom. Yep, NK, someone made a randomizer for this. It's actually pretty good. It's way smarter than I am. Maybe NK don't copy my hubris. The randomizer has a normal and an expert mode. Consider not playing the expert mode your first one. Or do, still. I mean, again, not your mom. I'll probably nope out of this once we get to the the canceling icons. Will I be doing? I mean, when I play Forbidden Memory, when that finally happens, yeah, the grinding will happen on stream. Yeah, I definitely hate myself that much. I have no problem with Zero Time Dilemma. I don't think it's as good as VLR 999. Structurally, it cannot be. Like, it's because of a problem that won't be solved. But I'm also enjoying it. Forbidden Memories isn't gonna happen soon. I'm at least holding out until Pi plays Curse of Monkey Island. The agreement we had, the live deal that was made, that absolutely I got baited into, I'm the biggest idiot in the world. The live deal was that if Pi played the entire Monkey Island trilogy, I had to play Forbidden Memories. I did not realize he was already planning on playing it anyway. I just came into stream one day and got baited hard. Once again, no. Once again, no, this is wrong. I'm having a real hard time with these stars. I understand the mechanic. I'm not confused by them. I can't seem to make it happen. Google the witness randomizer. There's 2 GitHub repos. The one you want is the one by Sigma144. The stars are every single panel I haven't solved yet has almost exclusively been because of stars. Stars require that the segment have exactly one other object of the same color as it. No fewer, no less. No fewer, no more. So this is valid for the star in the bottom right. Because the triangle is the same color. Yeah, the triangles count. Like, this is close to a solution. See, that counted for this one. I'm sure by some measurement you're still a genius. Don't worry, NK, you'll figure it out. I have to be really methodical about this. That's the part, one of the things I'm struggling with. The 2 stars in the middle are in the same group, which is not working. There it is. Want some rye? Gosh, you do. Same island layout and puzzle locations, yes. Expert mode just mixes all of the puzzle types everywhere. But yes, the puzzles are in the same locations and they always activate the same things. The only differences are that the panels themselves have been changed. And some of the environmental puzzles may not work anymore. The wiki mentions that some of the environmental puzzles may not work anymore. So you can't do environmental puzzles necessarily. The stars are the problem right now. This works for everything except for the stars. That's a good point, implied kappa. I don't think that's true, though. I think the panels did change. What's the rule on this one? The only specific thing is that the is the rule about stars. Stars require there to be exactly one thing in their region that's of the same color. Wow, this one's rough.